An ordinary guy suddenly finds himself transported to another world, along with a group of heroes. But while everyone else gains incredible powers, he's given a skill that seems completely useless in battle. So he decides to ditch the whole save the world thing and set off on a carefree journey full of adventures and cooking. The episode begins in the forest, where spiders are lurking, ambushing a wild rabbit. The wolf Makuta intervenes, blasting them with an electric shock that drops them one after another. Makuta finally appears and comments that they are foolish hairy spiders. He asks what they should do with them since they gathered so many. The wolf, Field, replies, "I don't know, but the poisonous tarantula shell is too tough to eat." Makuta is surprised. What? Are these spiders even edible in the first place? I think it's disgusting. Finally, Sue emerges from his hiding spot and says, "Is it over? I want to play." Makuta tells him, "Come on, my friend Sue, come out now. The coast is clear and everything is fine." The wolf gets angry and says, "Why do you always speak to Sue in such a friendly and lovely way, but you never speak to me?" Makuta looks at him with a puzzled expression and says, "How so? I talk and listen to you too, Field. Have you forgotten? Every day you tell me you want to eat this and that. I want meat. No, I don't want vegetables. No, I want a hot drink. Who does all that for you, Field, you silly wolf?" Field, now agitated, replies, Fine. Go prepare my meal then. I've been lying down all day with you two on my back. I need to eat a good meal. You should be grateful for the chance to ride on the back of a legendary magical beast like me." Before they leave, Makuta reconsiders. He activates his magical satchel and collects all the spiders, saying, maybe they'll be useful later. About half an hour into their journey, he ponders, what should we eat today? He sets up a table and brings out meat, but they eventually decide on eating gyoza. First, they need to get some gyoza wrappers and spices from the online store. He activates the store, and they buy everything in a matter of seconds. The delivery box arrives, filled with the purchased items, possibly ketchup, mayonnaise, and other secret ingredients. He then prepares the cilantro and vegetables. The vegetables are chopped, and then he adds some ginger and garlic paste to the ground meat. He also adds some soy sauce, sake, chicken stock powder, and finally sesame oil, salt, and pepper. Since you can't taste raw meat while seasoning, they have to add the ingredients carefully. Next, he kneads and kneads until everything sticks together. Then he adds the Japanese chives and the cabbage, which was salted and squeezed to remove moisture, mixing them well for 3 minutes. After that, they take the filling and the dough and wrap it like a stuffed grape leaf, trying to add a little less filling. Sue tries a piece and finds it very delicious. They arrange the gyoza and cook them over a steady medium heat. As soon as the color starts to change, he adds a water solution and covers the pan. After a quarter of an hour, he adds sesame oil, and finally, the finished product appears. The fully seasoned gyoza is ready. What do you think, dear viewers? Let me know in the comments if your mouth is watering. I added plenty of spices to the filling. It should taste delicious on its own. He serves it to Field and Sue, noting that adding some chili oil and soy sauce is also great. Field eats it and finds it truly wonderful. The meat and its juices burst in his mouth as he bites into it. The crispy skin and the meat are truly delicious. They continue eating, wanting another serving. Finally, Makuta eats his own creation and drinks a soda. Suddenly, he is greatly shocked when he finds a small red dragon clinging to his face. He screams, "Help me! Help me!" The dragon flies in front of him. Field assesses the situation and says, "What is this?" "It's a very rare Bekshi dragon. It wants food." Makuta offers it some food, and the dragon tastes it happily, devouring it in seconds and wanting more. Field warns him, "Don't underestimate this dragon. It's small but very powerful. These creatures are fast and truly skilled in all kinds of magic." The dragon looks at Makuta strangely, flies, and does something, then says, "This food is so delicious. Give me another meal." Makuta is stunned that it can talk. The dragon then adds, "I don't mind becoming a contracted companion if I can eat delicious food like this." Makuta is nearly speechless that the dragon speaks just like them. "Tell me, dragon, will you become a contracted companion just to get some food? Are you serious? You should reconsider." The Bekshi dragon replies, "Your food is the most delicious food I've ever tasted in my life. It's simple. Now I can eat even more delicious food if I stay with you." Field tells him that entering a contract with a human for a few decades is not a great loss for us. Then the dragon speaks to Makuta again and tells him, "The first thing you must do now, as my master, is to give me a special name." Makuta thinks, then says to him, "How about Dora-chan?" The other one gets angry and says to him, "Are you kidding me? Give me a proper name. Don't treat me like a child. I'm a grown dragon, 116 years old." But the name has already been decided on the list. Then Field tells him, "Don't expect anything from this detestable human. He gave me names before that all made me angry for some reason, and in the end, he named me Field." Then the dragon gets along with Sue very easily, bouncing on him as if he were a sponge or a spring that lifts him up. After that, the scene moves to the Adventurers Guild, where the receptionist girl says to him, "Welcome. Your familiar has been successfully registered." I never expected the day would come when I would register a dragon as someone's familiar. It's very strange. But listen closely. Our guildmaster has a request for you. He asked her, "Why me?" At that moment, the guildmaster, Rodolfo, arrives and says to him, "Are you Makuta? Pleased to meet you, you idiot. This must be your Bekshi dragon. I've heard of them before, but never expected to see one in person." Makuta approaches them and says, "What do you want, manager?" The manager gets straight to the point and wants to offer him a quest. Yes, it's about exploring the forest. The forest has been acting strange lately. It's not even mating season, but the monsters have become more aggressive. Makuta asks him, "Well, Why doesn't everyone just avoid the forest? The other one gets angry and says to him, we can't do that. The spider webs released by the insect monsters that live in that forest are the raw material we need to manufacture our town's high-quality textile. The town's trade will suffer if we lose the source of our raw materials. The town's trade will suffer if we lose the source of our raw materials. Can you help us with this? Makuta thought he couldn't take on such a dangerous mission and enter that forest. However, the dragon tells him that the northern forest is very easy, full of spiders that are very weak creatures. Suddenly, Makuta realizes that this is the very forest they were in just a moment ago, where they eliminated all the spiders that crossed their path. Field confirms, we took care of all of them with my lightning magic. The guildmaster can hardly believe it. Makuta pulls out one of the dead spiders from his supply gate, stunning the guildmaster, who is amazed he acquired it so instantly. Field interjects that he launched his attack in anger and punished it. Makuta apologizes, saying he didn't know these monsters were valuable to the guildmaster's town. But the chief doesn't just want them dead. He wants them because their meat is delicious, and these monsters have a great ability to reproduce. We often organized subjugation teams to deal with them, he explains. Makuta then pulls out all the spiders from his magical gate. The chief thanks him profusely, saying this is the first time a problem has been solved, even before he finished making the request to Makuta. He mentions that the poisonous spider shells and webs fetch a lot of money, and their meat is delicious when boiled in salt water. All of Makuta's animal friends are delighted and want to try the meat. Makuta asks the guildmaster to sell the shells and webs on the condition that he process the meat for them. The chief agrees. I will process the meat specifically so that it can be eaten immediately. After that, Makuta and his friends go to the market to check it out and buy some high-quality, cheap clothes. Makuta starts examining the clothes and finds the fabric quality to be amazing. The merchant appears and assures him that he won't be able to buy this cloth for such a cheap price in other towns. Field states that all clothes look the same, making Makuta angry. You don't care because you have fur to cover you, but I have my needs. Makuta buys some of the cloth and goes back to the chief, hoping the processing is finished. Indeed, he returns to the chief and finds he has finished processing the spiders. The meat has been separated and looks like crab. The chief explains that it tastes very sweet after boiling. Makuta eats a piece and finds it very appetizing, tasting like crab, but even better. Everyone gathers around, wanting to eat. Makuta prepares fried rice with lots of minced spider meat, a salad, and a crab omelet. He will also prepare meatballs if he has time, all to celebrate Dorajun, the great dragon. Everyone starts eating. Field says that the crab omelet perfectly combines the richness and sweetness of the poisonous spiders with the softness of the egg and a sweet and salty sauce, which is also delicious with the rice. They all eat happily. Dorajun is seen eating the hot food, as the fried spring rolls are very hot. Makuta roasts some more of the crab on the stove. It's not actually crab, but it closely resembles roasted crab. Field smells a different aroma from the food they were eating, rushes to Makuta and says, "You're hiding food from us. It smells so delicious." Everyone crowds around, wanting to try the food he is preparing. He offers them some, and they find it to be the most delicious food they have ever eaten, nearly melting in their mouths. Dora is very happy and says, "Thank goodness I met a cook like you. I have indeed heard a lot about you and searched a lot until I found you." In the evening, they return home and head to the warm bath, enjoying it. Makuta and Sue wished Field and Dora would join them, but they see them lying down. Dora says, "I can't eat another bite," and their stomachs are full. Makuta tells them that this happens often after eating crab. Makuta goes to bed as it was a very difficult day. "I will go to the guild tomorrow and deliver the shells to the guildmaster Rodolfo. I feel like I forgot something, but I'll sleep now." In the morning, Makuta delivers the shells to the chief, who is very happy with them. He also offers him some of the spider meat they hadn't eaten, telling him he has more. He opens his magical gate and storage to pull out more. He finds a giant earth dragon's head right in his face, the huge, troublesome prey that Field had hunted before. "I kept it stored, but I should do something about it," he thinks. He then tells the chief, "I heard there's someone who knows a lot about dragons in Dolan. Do you know who it might be?" The chief replies, "I have an idea." Makuta says, "I was hoping to find someone who could process this thing." The chief is astonished. It's the first time he's seen a giant earth dragon in person. "I heard you could buy a whole kingdom with one of those." Field boasts that it was no match for him, and the chief compliments him, saying he is very strong. The chief then hands Makuta a piece of paper with the address of the person who knows a lot about dragons. Makuta thanks him profusely. After that, they intend to head to Dolan. This concludes our episode. Wait for us in future episodes of this wonderful anime. Please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new. Our episode today begins with the great Makoto and the beautiful wolf, standing on the outskirts of the great country of Dolan. It's a very large city with a huge dungeon. Sui takes out the bag and says, "Sui wants to venture into that dungeon. I am ready for the adventure with bated breath." Then the dragon also comes and says to him, "Don't worry about the dungeon now. Shouldn't we process the earth dragon's meat first? We want to eat this meat," so they set off at rocket speed and finally reach the city limits. The walls were very high and they saw a large queue at the main gate of the city. But they must stand in this queue and show their guild card, or they will never enter that city. The wolf asks, "Wouldn't it be faster to jump over the walls?" Makoto informed him, "You idiot. If we do that, we will be instantly registered, and if we can't enter the city, we won't be able to process the meat you love." The wolf gets angry and says, "Well, there's nothing we can do." They indeed line up in the queue, but people are astonished and say, "What are these large creatures and that rare small red dragon?" At that moment, the soldiers see them and ask, "What is all this commotion? Who are you?" Makoto replied, "We are visitors from another country and wish to enter this city. I am officially registered with the guild," and he shows them his guild card. When the soldiers looked at it, they found that it was indeed not fake. At that moment, a strange man arrives and says to them, "A moment, please." Then he informs them that this man is his guest. I am sure he has two rare accompanying creatures beside him. Makoto asks him, "Who are you? Are you Elant?" He recognizes him and knows that he is indeed that long-eared elven man. Yes, my friends, he is the guildmaster of the city of Dolan himself, but when he looked at the little dragon, he was greatly shocked. At that moment, he takes them and hosts them in his private office. Makoto is very happy because he won't have to wait in that very long, wide queue. At that moment, he brings this strange thing and says to the dragon, "Please sit here." It was an object made of wood, infused with mana. I heard that pixie dragons only sit on this type of wood. After that, we see the guildmaster very excited, taking notes, and then he offers them tea. Meanwhile, the dragon offers him the flower nectar infused with mana. He was very fond of it and says, "It's truly great. Will you sell it to me?" But Makoto told him, "I don't sell anything. He is a friend of mine, and he wants me and no one else." Island said, "Fine, let's go to the warehouse and start the processing immediately." The meat processing, I mean. They indeed arrive at the warehouse, and when he opens the door, he is shocked to find a man named Agor, who informs him that he has a meeting with the Merchants Guild this afternoon. The guildmaster asks him, "Can we cancel that meeting?" But Agor gives him a strange look that shocks him without speaking. However, Makoto speaks and apologizes to Agor, and the meeting time is indeed postponed. Then Island puts on the gloves and says, "Come on, show me the sample. I have been waiting for this day with bated breath for over 200 years. Before I joined the guild, I retired from being an adventurer and took up the position of guildmaster, hoping that I would bring out an earth dragon. But unfortunately, I never got the chance, and now the opportunity has come before my eyes. Come on, bring out what you have, Makoto." And indeed, he brings out that very great dragon, and the guildmaster is shocked and says, "Oh, the splendor. It is truly a giant earth creature. I can't believe myself. I can't believe that I will be able to discover the insights of this dragon at my leisure. But I am very expert in such things." Then he said, "First, we must record a complete record of this great achievement." He measures it with a meter, inch by inch and centimeter by centimeter, body length, internal organs, number of fangs, bite size, everything in detail. Then Makoto calls out to him, "Listen to me carefully. This dragon next to you, I've confirmed that its diet is not the flower nectar you gave it. What does it usually eat?" He informed him. "First, this dragon's name is Dora. As for food, it eats anything. I don't think it has a specific dietary ability or restrictions. We all eat the food I prepare for them, like meat and vegetables." The guildmaster was very shocked. And then Dora the dragon says to Makoto, who understands his language well, "They eat anything, but the main meal is meat." The guildmaster is surprised more and more and says, "What's the story? Is he talking to him or what? And how does he understand his language?" Makoto explains the matter to him. "He usually talks to me through telepathy." The guildmaster is shocked and grabs him, saying, "What? What? This is the first time I've heard of telepathy in my long elven life. What are you saying, man? Tell me the details of all this immediately." Then the wolf speaks to him and says, "Listen, you pampered boy. Be careful to cook the meat well and bring it out for us in the right way," the guildmaster informed him. Not only that, but the dragon's parts, such as the skin and blood, are very valuable materials that everyone strives to obtain. The wolf informed him that he is not interested in such things. They are worthless compared to the deliciousness of the dragon meat. He is shocked even more and says, "What? What? Will you eat the earth dragon?" When he looked at Makoto, he said, "Why are you surprised, guildmaster? We will all eat it together." He grabs his hand and says to him, crying, "Please, allow me to taste the earth dragon also. I don't mind giving up my share. Please, please." Makoto told him, "Actually, Phil is the one who decides this matter," referring to the large wolf. The wolf comes and says to him, "Listen carefully, Elant. If you can process the dragon meat correctly, I don't mind you sharing a small portion with us." Elant thanks him greatly. The scene shifts to the morning. Makoto and his group were sleeping on the floor and talking about the dragon. He says, "I am so hungry that I am about to die. I am starving, my lord. We must eat this meat today or I will do strange things." Sui was also hungry. Everyone is tired and ready to eat, but where is the food? Makoto thought and said, "Let's eat something from the internet grocery." The wolf asks, "Is there Wagyu? I want to eat it." He told him that they are holding a keto exhibition, which is a place in Makoto's world that has truly delicious food. "We will get food from there today. We need some Genghis Khan, which is meat that has already been marinated. They also have a set that comes with the beautiful pot, the delicious, well-stewed bean pot. And let's also get some pre-cut vegetables. We might add that souvenir too." In just moments, the box is sent immediately. It's a great thing. Everyone is truly amazed. Then he gets the gear, takes out the stove and starts the heating process in this pot without oil. After that, he adds the meat to the center of the pot and pours the sauce around it, letting it boil. We flip the meat when we see the sauce starting to form large bubbles. Lamb and mutton are the tastiest when we don't overcook them. After finishing, he serves it to everyone. The wolf sniffs it but finally tastes it and finds it very delicious. As for the dragon, he says, "This meat is so tender. I have never eaten anything this delicious before." After eating, each of them went to sleep. Makoto said, "It was an exhausting day, but everything succeeded in the end. The online supermarket saved me today, and I got it as a souvenir before." He holds some sweets, and Sui wakes up, wanting to try some. He eats one and finds it very delicious. Everyone wakes up and comes to taste these delicious sweets as well. He hands each of them a piece, and they find it incredibly tasty, melting in their mouths. Then Phil wants another piece because the size is too small for him. Everyone asks for the same. In the end, he gives them all the remaining sweets, and they are extremely happy. After a while, Makoto and his friends leave, showing signs of fatigue as they haven't slept. They head to the guild, where the vice guildmaster receives them. Makoto asks him about Aylin's condition with the Earth Dragon. At that moment, the guildmaster comes out and says, "I am extremely excited now. I spent the entire night measuring, analyzing, and studying all aspects. Signs of fatigue and lack of sleep are visible in his eyes. He says, I am productive like this in my elven life." Makoto is happy then. Afterward, the guildmaster puts on his gloves and begins the processing. But first, he wants to draw blood because he wants to avoid damaging the surface as much as possible. He will use a special knife because the dragon's skin is very tough, so he brought the precious mithril knife belonging to the Adventurers Guild. He then starts using the knife on a piece of skin, and suddenly, the knife breaks. He and everyone else are terrified because this knife is a guild treasure. According to the records, Mithril should easily be able to cut the skin of this dragon. The guildmaster says, "We must bring a knife stronger than this material, stronger than mithril, and we must bring it quickly." Phil is very anxious because he wants to eat the meat quickly. Makoto informs them that it cannot be processed for some time. Phil is shocked then and collapses to the ground, unconscious, saying, "We traveled all this distance to enjoy the dragon meat?" The Vice Guildmaster informs them, "Our guild does not possess another mithril knife. We might be able to get some mithril ore from the dungeon." Phil immediately stands up, his spirits lifted, and says, "This will be a perfect opportunity to vent this frustration." But Makoto informs him that the leader is exhausted today, so they must rest. However, Phil is determined to go to the dungeon. Makoto tries to stop him, but to no avail. Phil says to him, "There's no need for you to accompany me. I can bring some of this ore myself." But in the end, Makoto convinces them not to go today, as they will attract attention, and then they won't be able to travel and eat delicious food, and there will be a big problem. Then he informs them that it is time for food. They all rejoice. Our cook, Makoto, begins preparing the ingredients. He starts by frying some sliced orc meat and adds some vegetables. We can use the vegetables we didn't use in the Genghis Khan pot in the previous meal I prepared a moment ago. Then he adds some sauce to the meat with these vegetables for a while, and also some garlic paste to add some depth, as well as sesame oil. Phil says, "It smells so good. The garlic and sesame oil make it very appetizing." Makoto serves them the dish after it is ready, and he adds an egg on top of each plate to make it more appetizing. They start eating, and the food's aroma and taste are very delicious. They all rejoice. Makoto says, "Praise be to God, I managed to distract them from exploring the dungeon. Nevertheless, we must do something about processing the meat." The scene then shifts to some goddesses who are arguing among themselves. Then some gods appear to them. They are shocked, because the goddesses are hiding something from them, which is that they are coercing others into giving them gifts and offerings. But they defend themselves and say, "That's not the case. We are not evil." Makoto hears them from another place using remote telepathy. He says to them, "Please confine the disputes among yourselves." The man with the yellow hair says, "I am the god of blacksmithing in this world, Hephaestus." The other says, "I am the god of war, Vahagan." Makoto then asks the god of blacksmithing about the mithril knife. The god of blacksmithing informs him that he can make a high-quality knife from the same mithril ore, but he wants something in return for this. He wants some offerings, and also to grant them his power. Makoto asks them to grant their powers to Phil, Dora, and all his friends. Makoto then notices that Sui has a new skill, the blacksmithing skill. "We should try that when we get the mithril ore." Phil says, "I completely forgot. We have ore from the mithril lizard we hunted in the past." Makoto is surprised when he says that, and indeed remembers that they have this ore from the lizard. He says to him, "You knew we had ore, but despite that you tried to enter the dungeon." Then he takes out this ore and offers it to Sui, asking him, "Can you turn this into the same type of knife that the guildmaster broke?" Sui attempts to do so and indeed manages to make a knife like it, an enhanced mithril knife, which is very strong. With this, they will be able to cut and process this dragon. And with this, today's episode ends. Wait for us in future episodes of this wonderful anime, The Chef Makoto. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive everything new. We also hope that those who followed us to the end of this episode will tell us where they are watching us from. Our episode begins when Makoto was going to the guild official who was supposed to process and adjust the meat for him, but the knife broke. When they went to him, they found him at his desk, very sad. Perhaps he was looking for a mithril blade so he could cut the dragon meat. It seems the shock affected him greatly. Here, Makoto speaks to the guild official and tells him, "Actually, there is something I was hoping you would try," and then hands him the wrapped knife. The elven man takes the knife, wanting to try it. He says, "I hope it works," and the cutting process begins. Everyone holds their breath, hoping the knife cuts and doesn't break. And indeed, my friends, the surprise was that the knife cut instantly. It was completely different from the previous knife. He was very happy. Then he looks at him and says, "How did you manage to get such an amazing knife?" Makoto gets flustered and tells him, No, it's just from someone I know." The elven man was very happy, holding the knife and raising it up, saying, "Finally, I can cut the dragon, and I'll be at ease. This is great work. I will process it." When Makoto asked him how long it would take, the other person began, saying, "I want to investigate every part of it, so I need about 3 days because this is a huge thing, and I don't think the furnace we have is strong enough to handle it." Here, Finn gets angry and tells Makoto that he can't wait any longer. He wants to eat the dragon meat. Makoto tells him, "You must wait. The prey is too big. What can be done? Maybe we'll explore the dungeon while everything is being processed." Here, Makoto tells him, No, we won't go." But the dragon comes out and tells him, "Fel is right, let's go. I want to see the effect of the blessing I got." It's really strange, my friends. It's not like they are going to an amusement park. Sui also wants to go to the dungeon. They start trying to persuade him to go to the dungeon. Finally, Makoto agrees and tells them, fine, this is only one time. Everyone is happy and dancing with joy. The scene shifts to the city, specifically to that area where we see those guards, and we see Mukoda and his group talking to the guild receptionist, who tells them, it depends on the adventurer, but usually, once you enter, it can take from 3 days to a month. I know it's a long time, but the dungeon has 30 floors, and no one knows what will happen upon entering. So it is advised to take a lot of food with you. If you intend to go deeper into the dungeon, you will need to prepare suitable equipment, as basically no one has been able to complete this dungeon yet. He said to her, okay, I've changed my mind. I didn't know it would be that difficult. She told him, well, you should take it easy. Then hands him his guild card back. Meanwhile, Fen and the dragon were very angry and told him, we came all this way and we won't enter, you idiot. He told them telepathically, I want to prepare a lot of food. We must have a lot, so be patient. Perhaps you won't be satisfied if we enter the dungeon and eat bad food, he convinces them, and they leave afterwards. They go shopping. People were very surprised and saying, look at those accompanying creatures, they are giant, and what is that great wolf, and he also has a dragon. People are amazed by them in that city, which is one of the 5 largest cities in this kingdom. That vendor calls out to him and says, you, the owner of the wolf, come here and take a look. We have all the fresh vegetables that were harvested today. Mukoda looks at them and says, yes, they are very cheap. I should buy some to take with me. When he asked about a kilo of meat, he found it was for 1 gold coin. Makoto is surprised because it is very expensive. The man said to him, what are you talking about, man? It's monster meat. It's a luxury commodity. Makoto then remembers and says, yes, I think the party that was eating with me was devouring it greedily, but in the end, I won't buy meat. Fel and the others can always hunt meat for us. So, I want some of this rolled bread, carrots, and onions. He buys them and leaves. Then he arrives at this oven and finds it's a magic oven with 4 heating elements. The seller comes and says to him, hello, sir, you have a discerning eye. This is the latest model of magic ovens on the market. It is the best thing on the market. I advise you to buy it. Mukoda asked him, what is its firepower? He informed him that it is very high. The merchant then tells him that this oven has carefully selected magic stones, so its heating output is excellent. In addition to that, this oven has achieved the highest sales. This oven is powerful enough to roast an entire cockatrice. Mukoda understands that he probably won't be able to roast monsters with this oven, but it's better than his current one. If he gets it, he'll be able to cook a greater variety of food. He then asks the merchant about the cost, and the merchant tells him it costs 860 gold pieces. Mukoda is shocked by the price. The wolf speaks to him, asking him to buy it because with it they can eat new kinds of delicious meals and also eat more tasty food. Since he has the money to buy it, there's no harm in getting it. Furthermore, this oven uses the same gas cylinders as his portable oven. Mukoda thinks for a moment and agrees to buy it. At night, Mukoda and his familiars return to their accommodation, where Mukoda is able to cook many kinds of food. At that time, Sui comes over and asks him about these pots. Mukoda replies that they are soup pots. They are huge, as he wanted large pots to hold his food, although he wanted a larger size than that but couldn't find them, as they were not available online. He then shows him tonight's dinner and asks him to tell his friends that it's mealtime. Indeed, the wolf and the little dragon come to eat, and they find the food very delicious and appetizing. The next morning, we see Mukoda standing in front of his tools and vegetables, contemplating the food he will cook tonight. He tells himself that even if he is going to cook in the dungeon, he should prepare enough food for 3 or 4 days. He then starts preparing the food. First, he prepares stewed ogre general meat. Second, red wild boar cabbage rolls, and the next dish is fried minced veal and bell peppers, as this dish is quick and easy to prepare. Since there are no leftover spices, Mukoda cooks the delicious food. He is now cooking ogre general meat soup, and after that, wyvern meat stew. Thus, he finishes preparing the food. His familiars get hungry and try to eat the food. Mukoda refuses and tells them that they won't eat any of this now. While Mukoda was cleaning his room, Sui comes to him and gives him a sword. When Mukoda sees it, he is shocked by its beauty. It looks very sharp. He then thanks Sui for the help, as he is no longer worried about the weapon he will use in the dungeon. Afterwards, Willem comes to him to inform him that the earth dragon has been fully processed and that he must come to the warehouse. Mukoda agrees to that and asks him to wait a little until he gets ready. Then he closes the door. Willem grabs him and apologizes, saying he cannot stay because the guildmaster does not do any work, so he was very busy. Then the old man rushes off, and Mukoda says to himself, working for that guild must be very tough. After that, Mukoda goes to the warehouse with the wolf. He speaks to the man, saying to him, I was told that the earth dragon has been processed. When they see the earth dragon's meat like this, they are very surprised. He tells them, this is what is expected from the blood of an exceptional crimson-colored dragon. I want to gaze at it forever. Then Mukoda speaks to him, so you've finished processing the earth dragon. Island informs him, I have finished processing it completely and thoroughly. These were the best 3 days in my long life. Regarding that, I would like to buy some materials for the guild. First, I want 2 vials of the earth dragon's blood. Dragon blood is used as an ingredient in elixirs and is known as a type of complete antidote. Then, I want half of the liver. It has the same properties as the blood, but its effect is said to be many times stronger. Finally, I want 1 fang. I want to sharpen this to make a dragon sword from it. Please, I want to buy all these items. Then Mukoda says, you want all this? I thought you would buy much more. Island replies, no, this amount of materials might lead to the financial collapse of the guild. After long consideration, I concluded that these 4 items would be the total. The total will be 3,800 gold pieces, but now I have brought 380 large gold coins for this deal, and I want you to agree to this. Mukoda is astonished, saying to himself, only a few parts cost all this money? How much will I earn if I sell everything? The wolf speaks to Mukoda, saying, regardless of the vital internal organs and fangs, there is no meat here. You really don't plan on keeping it for yourself? Island reassures him that he has stored all the Earth Dragon meat for him. I said that the meat is the most valuable part in your opinion. They then enter the room. The wolf enters and is surprised when he sees all the meat he wanted, saying, a freezing room preserved with magic ice? Then Island tells him, we collect a lot of meat from dungeon spoils, so a temperature-controlled room is better than a naturally cold room. Then, we see the little slime taking the meat and giving it to Mukoda to store with him. Then Island apologizes to Mukoda, saying, actually, I would like to taste some of the Earth Dragon meat. Mukoda agrees, saying, of course, we made a promise and you succeeded in processing it. Island is happy when he learns this and wants them to go now and eat together at his house. The wolf agrees, saying, that's a good idea. We got the meat, let's eat the Earth Dragon immediately. Everyone is happy. Then they take Mukoda and rush off, because there is nothing more important than tasting the dragon meat. After that, they arrive at the forest and Mukoda begins to take out all the cooking tools. Then Aelin tells him that he also has toolbox skills. Many elves have high levels of sorcerer. I was a strong warrior who used plant and wind magic with my sword. Plant magic is a characteristic of elves. We are often skilled in pharmacology, and this book was made from a dragon. After that, Mukoda prepares the meat to start cooking. He is very happy because they were able to get this very modern oven. He puts salt on the meat and begins to peel the potatoes and carrots, then slices them. His companions help him peel the onions. He then places the cooking plate on the oven pan and fills the pan with meat and vegetables. After that, he drizzles olive oil over it, adds herbs, and then puts it in the preheated oven for roasting the meat and vegetables. Everyone waits, very eager and excited to taste this delicious meat. Mukoda continues to monitor it until it is cooked and the roasting is finished. After a few minutes, he takes it out of the oven. It looks very well cooked and delicious. Everyone is eager to taste it. Indeed, Mukoda tests it by inserting a small skewer into it and finds that the meat is indeed cooked and ready. He then slices the meat and pours some steak sauce flavored with garlic soy sauce on it because Fel loves it. Thus, the meat and the dish are ready, and the roasted dragon is ready. Everyone is happy and eager, as if they have never eaten before. Mukoda is the first to taste the meat, and he is stunned by how wonderful it is. It is very delicious, and different from veal, chicken, or any meat he had eaten before. Even the meat juices are incredibly tasty. I don't blame Fel for his persistent desire to eat this. Everyone starts eating this very delicious food, and they are happy. Fel says, I haven't had a dragon in a long time, but it's very delicious, as I recall. I have used fire magic to cook its meat before, but it can't even compare to this. This is very different and delicious. I should have hunted 3. Mukoda is happy because they liked it. After that, everyone finishes their plates and asks for another plate. He serves them more. Then Mukoda asks the dragon, Dora, doesn't eating dragon meat make you one of their relatives? Dora tells him, I am a completely different species from Earth dragons, and this does not count as cannibalism unless I eat another pixie dragon. The matter becomes clear to Mukoda. Island speaks to himself, crying over the food, saying he is extremely grateful. Tsuyoshi is surprised by him, saying he is crying while eating. Island continues his meal, crying, and says, not only was I able to process a dragon as I always dreamed, but I was even able to taste its meat. Moreover, for the food to be this delicious, Tsuyoshi tells him, there is no need to be this emotional. The wolf speaks. Filling my stomach fills me with energy and vitality. Now I will be able to explore the dungeon at full power. We will enter the dungeon tomorrow. Tsuyoshi speaks to himself, saying, if we are entering the dungeon tomorrow, then I should take care of the offerings today. First, I will go to the sweets page. At that moment, the gods observe him. One of the gods comes and asks them, did you grant that fool a defensive skill? Ninlil replies, I granted him my blessing. One of the gods informs her that she is very reckless. You granted him a modest blessing. There is no guarantee that this blessing can protect that fool. He asks them, what will happen if that person from another world dies by mistake? The other god informs them, you will not be able to get anything from that other world again. Then Ninlil screams, the sweets from the other world must be protected at all costs. Kisarl then says, it would be terrible if I didn't get any beauty products. Agni says, no, my drink, this is unbelievable. The gods then say, that's why I am thinking of granting a skill to the person from the other world. He asks them, is this appropriate? They reply, yes. The scene shifts to Tsuyoshi, who is speaking to the gods, saying, excuse me, are you there? I am about to enter a dungeon tomorrow, so I will offer. The god speaks to him telepathically, saying, fool, I know this is sudden, but I will grant you a skill. Tsuyoshi replies, I don't need one. Please let me send my offerings. The god replies, previously you refused my blessing, and now you repeat it again, but that cannot happen. Well, with this, we will be able to enjoy the drink from the other world for some time. The gods are happy about that. Tsuyoshi asks them, can any of you hear me? Then Tsuyoshi goes to the guild and meets the girl he saw before at the guild in the Dragon Kingdom. She introduces herself, saying, my name is Fianna. He asks her, why are you here in this guild? She replies, the dungeon here has been very busy recently, and the Doland Adventurers Guild requested assistance from other guilds. Tsuyoshi replies to her, I see. So, the guilds are constantly communicating with each other like this. He then speaks to himself, saying, it seems she is still interested in the wolf to the extent that she cannot control herself. She informs him, your registration has been completed now. The scene shifts to Fianna writing a letter to her sister. She says, dearest, I have started working at the Dolan Adventurers Guild. Many people want to slay the receptionists at the guild here as it is a dungeon city, but only a few have been able to stay for a long time. Business is busy as we heard, and I don't have time to rest, but I don't want to fail the guildmaster who recommended me, so I'm doing my best. She informs her, I was able to meet the man I thought I would never see again. He was very handsome and fluffier than before. Her sister is happy for her. Thus, today's episode ends. If you liked the video, press like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. The chapter begins with Makoto and his friends entering the dungeon, where Fail tells him that the weak are always on the lower floors, and that most adventurers explore the dungeon and earn money by defeating monsters between the 10th and 15th floors. Treasure chests are most likely found on these floors, and the floors above them are of no concern. They then ride on Fail's back, who runs quickly to descend to the 10th floor immediately. A group of monsters confronts them, and Fail collides with them, passing quickly. While running, Fail steps on something like a trap, causing a spear to head towards them. Just as it was about to hit Makoto, his dragon companion immediately saves him and breaks the spear. Makoto is surprised and says, aren't dungeons naturally formed, and these traps are man-made things? Fail informs him that the dungeon is like a living creature that lures humans with monsters that drop magical stones and treasure chests, intending to kill them with born monsters and crafted traps. The human corpses are then absorbed by the dungeon as food, contributing to the dungeon's growth. The traps are like the limbs of this living thing called the dungeon. During the conversation, they see several arrows launching towards them, but Fail uses his magical arm to save himself and his friends from them. Makoto then tells him that the dungeon is very frightening. They finally reach the 10th floor. Fail tells him that this floor also does not have worthy enemies, and the boss of this floor is a venomous tarantula. They must hurry to the boss room immediately. When they arrive there, they see a group of adventurers outside the boss room. When they see Fail, they mistake him for a killer monster, but Makoto immediately apologizes to them and tells them that they are not monsters and that they came to the boss room. One of the adventurers is surprised when he learns that this is Makoto's first visit and informs him that there are many rules in the dungeons that adventurers follow. When fighting monsters, the team that attacks first has priority, and the spoils are also the property of that team. Once the battle begins, the other team is not allowed to help unless asked. The adventurer who opens a treasure chest has priority in obtaining its contents. Makoto asks them if there is another team currently inside. The adventurer informs him that there is, as there are some people who ignore the rules and steal the spoils. After several hours, Makoto and his friends are seen sitting outside the boss room, bored because they want to enter immediately, but Makoto advises them to adhere to the rules and regulations. The adventurers emerge from inside carrying the spoils and tell Makoto that they will not exceed this floor and will not go down to the next one, as they all have wives and children and will not risk themselves. Makoto and his friends then enter the room. When Makoto sees the boss monster, he is very scared. Then the dragon uses its fire energy to attack the boss and defeats it. He then collects the spoils, and Makoto takes the boss's leg, realizing that it is a powerful remedy for many diseases. They advance to the next floor and see many huge monsters. The dragon also attacks them and defeats them. The dragon then informs him that he is starting to feel hungry because he has consumed a lot of magic, and so has the slime sui. Fail tells them that there is an open room with no trace of monsters and it should be safe, and they can eat there. They enter the room and find that it is like a rest area, with many adventurers resting and eating there. Then the Iron Will mercenary group arrives and welcomes Makoto, who remembers them. This group had been helpful to Makoto, as he was able to leave the kingdom of Regissaire safely thanks to them. The leader of the group tells him that they arrived in the city the day before yesterday and started descending immediately yesterday, and asks him if he has acquired more accompanying creatures, asking, is this a baby dragon? Makoto informs him that this is a pixie dragon at its adult size and its name is Dora, and he also introduces them to Slime Sui, who is a very strong slime. He then plays with the group and seems very happy with them. Everyone then informs Makoto that they are very hungry and want to eat. Makoto tells them that he will prepare food for them and they will all eat together. The group accepts this and they are very happy and everyone prepares the food together. Then, his red-haired teammate takes out a black bread. Makoto is surprised and says to her, this bread, it looks very nice. Perhaps we should eat something that goes well with it. He takes out his heater to warm the food, while cutting the bread into small slices and adding meat, potatoes, and soup. Everyone sits down and prepares to eat after saying the name of God, Basmala, as it is the etiquette of eating to mention God's name and eat with the right hand, not the left. When they eat, they find the food to be incredibly delicious, so much so that they cry from its sweetness. They eat very quickly, saying, this is the first time we've eaten meat that melts in our mouths like this. The flavor is very rich and deep, truly highlighting the sweetness of the vegetables. The man who is crying says, I didn't expect to be able to eat Makoto's food again. It's the best in the world. Everyone is talking about how delicious his food is. They ask him what type of meat it is. He tells them it is wyvern meat. Everyone is shocked and they look like they want to vomit, but they cannot believe they ate this ingredient and that it was so luxurious and delicious. He tells them, don't worry, we have a lot of it. Fail and Sweet hunted it together. They are very strong and can do anything. As for their speed, it exceeds the speed of a rocket itself. Everyone finishes their plates and wants more because of how sweet the food is. Makoto is genuinely happy and tells them, eat as much as you want. After they eat and take a nap, the leader of the group says to Makoto, listen carefully, Muko. We intend to explore this floor a little more, so we will part ways here. Muko tells them, all right, my friends, you must be careful. Goodbye. After that, they descend to the lower floors to kill the monsters there until they reach the 16th floor. On this floor, Makoto feels that the air is different from the first 15 floors. The wolf informs him that the dungeons are like this, where sometimes the change is much greater. While they are wandering, the wolf places his foot on a stone, and suddenly an earthquake occurs in the place. Makoto and his companions are startled, and suddenly a large boulder comes rolling towards them. Makoto runs in fear to hide anywhere. The wolf asks him to calm down and not make any noise, and then uses his strength to shatter the large boulder. At that moment, Makoto understands that the traps here are more malicious than before. After that, they finally reach the 20th floor. While wandering there, Chan talks to Makoto and asks him if he is surprised by their strength, as they will continue to defeat one monster after another, and basically they are very blessed. The wolf interrupts him and tells them that he wishes to reach the depths quickly. Makoto replies that he does not want to go there. Sui calls out to him and tells him that there is something suspicious in a hole. When Makoto looks, he finds a chest. He rushes over, very excited to examine it, because treasure chests are an important part of the dungeons. He didn't realize that finding a chest here would make him so enthusiastic. Before he can open it, the wolf grabs him and tells him that he had previously informed him that the dungeons lure humans with the ornamentation of treasures. He should look at it from a distance and carefully. Makoto proceeds to appraise it and finds that it is a trapped treasure chest designed to release a poisonous gas upon opening, and if he inhales the poisonous gas, he will die. Makoto collapses onto the ground and tells them that the dungeon is truly cruel. Field tells him that it was a good choice as they are protected by their blessings, but Makoto only has secondary blessings. Field tells him he will open the chest instead. Then the usual voice Ninreal comes to Makoto's ear and tells him, "Regarding the secondary blessing that I cast upon you, because we goddesses have compounded our blessings onto you, it has become as strong as a normal blessing. It is rare for 3 goddesses to bless the same person. This means you will not get sick, and the poisonous gas will not affect you. Therefore, enjoy the dungeon well." Makoto stands up and tells Fail that the intertwined secondary blessings have accumulated to become a single, normal blessing. Fail tells him, if Ninreal says so, then it must be true. Makoto heads towards the chest, and when he opens it, a huge amount of poisonous gas comes out, but nothing happens to them. When he looks inside the chest, they then arrive at another massive treasure chest. Makoto is very excited to open it. As he approaches the chest, a screen appears telling him that the chest is a monster disguised as a treasure chest. Makoto becomes angry. Fail tells him that the fake chest attacks the moment you try to open it, but given its size, it might be hiding something good. At that moment, Makoto takes out his very strong sword, holds it, and tries to open the chest. Suddenly, a very ugly monster pops out of the chest, which terrifies Makoto. He attacks with his sword in random strikes and finds that he has miraculously defeated the monster. He is very happy afterward. After a few seconds, the chest appears again. He opens it and finds jewels inside. However, his friends do not want any of these things. They only want to enjoy themselves and eat. After that, they descend to a new area and find a large space, a vast forest. They are astonished by this place. Fail asks Makoto to ride on his back, since there is something relatively strong ahead. They quickly rush into this large forest until they reach a strong monster of rank B named the Giant Killer Mantis. But for Fail, it is very weak. He shocks it in 1 second and defeats them all. Makoto is terrified by this power. Dora and Sui become upset because Fail was the one who defeated them alone. They wanted to participate. Fail tells them, that is not important. We should choose something strong. Makoto finds them getting annoyed with each other. He tells them, let's distribute the roles. Each of you has a turn. They accept this. They continue walking in the forest, and a large black bear appears before them. Dora defeats it. The wolf speaks, saying, these butterflies emit a paralyzing poisonous dust and suck the body fluids out of their prey while they are alive. Tsuyoshi Makoto replies, they are extremely evil, Sui, be sure to attack them from a distance. Sui attacks the butterflies and succeeds in defeating them. She is happy that she has defeated them. Tsuyoshi tells her, that's right, amazing. The wolf then tells him, we are getting closer to the presence I feel. It's near. Tsuyoshi replies, hold on a moment, wolf. That strong presence is most likely the boss. The wolf is surprised. Tsuyoshi tells him, let's have a meal before we fight it, just in case. I want to use the online grocery service to raise my stats with some ingredients from my world. The wolf replies, we won't lose in our current state, but eating ingredients from your world is a good idea. They sit down to eat. Tsuyoshi asks him, what do you think of the steak we had before? The wolf replies, that's perfect. Tsuyoshi informs them that they will eat some Japanese Wagyu beef slices this time. It would be bland if we only had that. We have roast pork marinated with lemon salt and green onion salt flavor, and we'll add some coarsely ground sausage. They even have roast duck with black pepper, yakitori thigh, and liver too. This should be a lot of meat. Then, it would be wise to order some sandwiches for myself. Tsuyoshi serves the food to them and they eat it. Tsuyoshi finds the lemon-salted meat and the green onion-salted meat to be refreshing and appetizing, and they are both crispy and juicy. They ask him for more food. The wolf says, the food from your world is truly delicious. Chan says, this is the first time I've had some, but it was very delicious. Sui says, it was very delicious, my lord. Tsuyoshi is happy to hear this. He then asks them, what about our stats, starting with the wolf? The wolf informs him that his stats have increased significantly. Tsuyoshi asks Chan, what about you? Chan replies, woe is me. Maybe I overdid it a bit. He asks Sui, then says, well, we are about to fight the boss, so I'm sure things are fine. Finally, I'll take a look at myself. The wolf says, it's useless if your stats don't increase as they should. Chan tells him, you must compose yourself. Sui says, my lord, you can do it. Thus ends today's episode. If you like the video, press like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all our new content. Our episode begins with Makod and his lovely team. The wolf asks if the area they are walking on is the boss's territory. Makoto tells him that he feels his presence and that he is very close. Here we learn that the Fenrir can smell from long distances. He told him, "Yes, indeed, I feel his presence is near through my sense of smell." The dragon, very excited, said, "I can't wait, I want to see him." At that moment, they are surprised by a very large cobra called Vasuki, which is an S-rank monster. The Fenrir wolf says that he has only fought Vasuki 3 times in his life. At that moment, the cobra spits a deadly poison, a lethal venom that cannot be absorbed through the respiratory system alone, but also through the skin. Whoever absorbs it will die within 5 seconds if it is inhaled. It also has a devastating effect. Makoto is shocked and tells him to do something or they will all die. The other tells him that he is walking with the blessing of his parents' prayers, so as long as he avoids its bites and constrictions, there will be no problem for him. Makoto runs and hides behind a tree and lets them fight. They pounce on it, and the fence rower uses a lightning strike, while Sui hits it in the stomach. As for the dragon, it pounces on it as if it were a nuclear missile, entering its stomach and exiting from the other side. The cobra falls dead, and everyone rejoices. On the other hand, we see the wolf, and he says, "If you channel your magical power into this, we will not be able to enter the next floor. But if we don't all touch it at the same time, someone might be left behind." At that moment, they think of a beautiful idea. Sui and the dragon wrap around it so that they are like one person. While the teleportation circle is activated, they disappear in a flash into the dungeon. The place was very huge. At that moment, they encounter 2 giant monsters. No, 3. The dragon attacks them and eliminates them in a flash. They continue walking, having walked a very long distance. The corridors are not huge, but they are long, as if they were the tunnels of Gaza, the mystery of which no one has been able to explain until now. Now, everyone is hungry and wants to eat. They stop in that area. Perhaps it is a safe area, as there are no monsters nearby and they have decided to eat in this place. They spread out and prepare everything. Makoto had prepared this beforehand because he knows that the journey is long. He just heats the food and then gives it to them. It looks very delicious. I'm hungry, my friends, while watching the action. Are you hungry too? Write to us in the comments. Everyone eats voraciously. The taste is good. The sauce is wonderful and the soup is also irresistible. They eat and want another plate. As for Doro the dragon, he is completely full and his stomach is full. He can't breathe from eating so much. Makoto puts the things in his magic bag and says to Fel, "I'm a little tired. We should take a nap here." But he doesn't finish his sentence and is surprised by something in front of him. Yes, guys, these people are carrying a wounded man, seriously injured. This man's name is Damien. They lay him on the ground and want to treat him and stop the bleeding, but unfortunately, they have run out of healing potions. One of them calls out to Makakota, You, the person wearing the green robe. Do you have a healing potion? Give us one and we will pay you for it immediately." Makakota quickly takes it out and gives it to them. When the leader, perhaps he is the leader of their party, pours it, he is surprised that the matter is strange. That potion is a concentrated potion, an original potion of a special grade. They are very amazed and say, "It's impossible for an ordinary person to possess something like this. How could he do that?" They all look at him, and he tells them, "Don't worry, I know this and I imported it from abroad." The man, thank God, is still unconscious, but his wound has completely healed. They were very worried about him. Here, the leader stands up and tells him, "We are a party of A-rank adventurers called Tempest. Your potion has saved us. Thank you." After that, this man comes to Makoto and tells him that they are a party of A-rank adventurers called Tempest. Then, he thanks him very much because his potion has saved them. Makoto replies that there is no need to thank him. He just happened to have the potion with him. The man asks him if 15 gold pieces are enough for them. Makoto is shocked by the price. Then he tells him that he knows that the price of a regular, high-grade potion is 10 gold pieces. The leader replies that it is more effective than a regular potion and they are also in a dungeon, so he should pay at least that much. When Makoto hears this, he adds these bottles as well. Since they are low-grade potions, they don't work very well. The leader is amazed by his help and quickly takes them from him. Makoto asks him to tell him what happened. The leader tells him that there were 3 Spriggans in the boss room on this floor. Makoto directs his words to the wolf and asks him if Spriggans are really dangerous or not. The wolf replies that they are larger than minotaurs. The leader continues his words and tells them that this is the 2nd time he has entered this dungeon. And the first time they were here, they only confirmed the presence of 1 Spriggan. They returned to the surface after that to draw up a strategy, but they were unable to do so. Makoto thinks for a moment and finds that there are 3 Spriggans. After that, the leader continues his words by saying that although the dungeons change daily, they were taken by surprise. Then he tells him that he is sure that he will be fine against them. It seems that the rumors he heard about an adventurer who retired with a Fenrir as a familiar are true. Makoto gets a little nervous. The leader calms them down and then tells him that they are not asking for details. In any case, he will return to the surface after sleeping for a while. They agree to all sleep and continue their descent tomorrow. After that, Makoto prepares food for them. Then they treated their wounds and restored their mana. The next day, Makoto goes with his companions to the boss room and finds these 3 monsters there. The wolf was not worried about them at all. Then he approaches them with all confidence and kills them with a single blow. After that, Makoto enters the room and finds this bag. He knows through the skills list that it is a large magic bag, big enough to hold 20 burlap sacks full of tools, and that time passes for the tools placed inside just as it does in reality. Makoto takes it to put it in the toolbox to keep it. Then he collects the crystals that fell from the monsters. The wolf tells him that the next few floors are full of huge monsters and they must deal with them quickly. Makoto tells him that he will try to fight next time, as he has the perfect defense skill after all. Suddenly, he finds this large group of monsters standing in front of him, and he screams at the top of his lungs. We see Makoto is very scared and asks for help because of the attack of these monsters on him, but the dragon helps him and throws fire on them. On every floor, they face monsters and are able to get rid of them all on all floors. Then, they reach the 29th floor, which is the penultimate floor. They find themselves in the desert and are all amazed by that. Makoto speaks to them saying, "We have reached the desert after crossing the swamps." The dragon and the slime are amazed by the shape of the desert and the presence of a lot of sand. The wolf told them, "This dungeon is designed in a very exciting way, but don't dwell on the details. Let's move forward." They go and enjoy themselves, but they are very exhausted from the intense heat and look for a place with shade to go to. After that, the wolf tells them that he will create a barrier to stop them, but he cannot because it stops the sun's rays. "I can alleviate a lot of the heat, but even I can't maintain this barrier forever. I can at most for a few days. These types of open floors are very wide. We must cross before the barrier depletes my mana." Then, Makoto speaks to him. "We should do our best to deal with the heat in a way that does not depend on magic." Makoto searches. Then we see him wearing new glasses and clothes with this package, and in it is a lot of water, saying to them, "We must constantly hydrate ourselves." They drink a lot and a lot. Finally, Sui drinks and is very happy. Then Mako tells him that he has returned to his normal self. After we have hydrated ourselves, we should eat some food. Mako orders them a large-sized ice cream. They ate from it, and the wolf eats it and likes it very much, saying, "It is sweet and rich. Unlike regular ice, it is cold and very delicious." Then Makoto talks to himself, saying, "It is very luxurious to eat ice cream in the middle of the desert, but the heat is still intense." Then they continue on their way, each with an ice cream in his mouth. Makoto tells them that there is a lot of sand even after looking far, and we do not know in which direction we will go. The wolf tells him that he will follow the trail of the boss's presence. The drastic changes in temperature between day and night in this type of environment will be difficult. Makoto is amazed, saying, "Will night fall inside a dungeon like this? We should cover as much distance as possible before sunset." He hurries and encounters many scorpions and monsters, but they get rid of them easily. After a while, night falls and the cold is very harsh. Fel uses his barrier to relieve them from the terrible cold. Then, Makoto orders them some things from the store to relieve them from the feeling of cold, and orders them some delicious food to make them warm from the inside. They all rejoice as they wanted to eat some food. Makoto begins to prepare this food. He brings this pot and first adds some soy sauce, marin salt, broth granules, mushrooms, and rockbird meat cut into fine pieces. Then he puts a little water on them and begins to boil them together. After it starts to boil, we will add some udon and cover it again, and it begins to cook, little by little. After that, he adds some fish cake, green onions, and pre-made shrimp tempura. After that, he cracks an egg on these ingredients and lets it boil more, then covers it. Dora is very cold and wants to eat this food quickly to make him warm. After that, the food is ready, and everyone starts eating and finds it very delicious and very tender. It really warms them up from the cold of this harsh weather. Everyone finishes their plates and asks for another plate. Fail tells them that we are finally close to the boss of this floor, and we must save our energy as much as possible to be able to defeat him. We should sleep a little before we get colder. Then they take out the blankets and sleep on them. The next morning, they are fighting this sandy boss monster and they defeat him in an instant. Finally, they reach the end of this floor. After that, they move to another floor, and this huge monster is waiting for them. A monster called Behemoth. This is the boss of the last floor. They all prepare to fight this big monster, and they take turns hitting it with each other. Sui and Dora initiate the attack, and none of them could affect it or even scratch it. Fel tells them that this monster is resistant to physical attacks and magical attacks, but this does not mean that they are completely ineffective. All you have to do is attack with something strong enough to break its defense. At this moment, this monster attacks them, and Fel dodges it. It hits the wall. He asks them to attack it with all their might. Indeed, everyone begins to attack it with all their might, but the monster seems to be completely fine. At the heart of the final battle, facing the legendary behemoth whose defenses seemed impenetrable, the wise wolf L announces the plan for victory. The damage will undoubtedly stack up. Sweet Dora-chan, even if it seems like your magic is being deflected, don't you dare slow down your attacks. Following their leader command, the small duo unleashes a storm of magical assaults. Yeah, let's keep this up. Dora-chan shouts with excitement, but the raging beast retaliates with a sweeping fire attack. It's then that Fel's strategic genius shines through, as he spots the enemy's weak point. The attacks are getting through better on the parts covered in Sui's acid. Sui, flood the area with it. The battle transforms into a symphony of power and tactics as Sui's acid melts the monster's armor, while Dorican rains down a barrage of spells. At the decisive moment, Fel orders everyone back, unleashing his ultimate finishing blow that shakes the very foundations of the dungeon and brings the behemoth crashing down. We beat it! We did it! Mako yells, overjoyed. We actually took down a behemoth! As they celebrate, a legendary magic sword appears as their reward. A blade so heavy Mako can barely lift it. Well, this thing would cause a huge uproar if people knew about it. We better put it away for now. But after all that fighting, there's only one thing on Fel's mind. Now that we've defeated the dungeon boss, I'm starving. Makoto looks at him stunned. What? I get it, but let's go home first. But Fel, Dora-chan, and Sui are all insisted on celebrating right then and there. And so, the greatest feast of all time begins. With a smile, Makoto declares to celebrate clearing the dungeon. We're having everyone's favorite, a fried food party. The The table is soon gleaming with plates of crispy fried rockbird chicken, served with Korean yangyo, honey mustard, and tangy tartar sauces. This red sauce isn't as spicy as it looks, Fel remarks, Doroshen adds, and the yellow one is sweet and spicy at the same time. The deep-fried kushikatsu skewers loaded with different meats and vegetables amazed everyone with their varied textures and incredible flavors. But the feast isn't over yet. Makakota prepares the knockout dish, American-style corn dogs. Fluffy golden batter is fried to perfection, encasing a juicy, savory sausage. Everyone devours them with delight, declaring the combination absolutely irresistible. As his companions enjoy the unforgettable meal, Makoto whispers to himself, "Today is special. I can't spoil you guys like this all the time." Oh well, I guess it's okay just this once. And so, our incredible adventure for the day comes to a close. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss what's coming.